Well, here we are again on a second Friday, back with Bill Rogers. Uh, Bill really enjoyed last Friday's testimony. I know we're squeezed for time, but I'm really grateful. It was very obvious the Lord came and grabbed you in the mid-70s there in Tallahassee. But off camera, we've talked a lot about your journey in faith and how various men have meant a lot who've come alongside you, or especially early on, to really help shape other books you've read. Really good to see you again this morning. I look forward to hearing what you want to say to us about men and books and other things that have shaped your life.
Well, thank you, Dennis. Good to be with you again. And certainly, I really believe that one of the most powerful and wonderful blessings of being involved in the faith walk and to living this kind of adventure with God, so to speak, is the incredible men and women that have come into my life as a result of following Jesus. I would say that, interestingly enough, relative to our time together with Lynx players, Jim Hiskey, who I think many would know and believe that was very much he began the tour Bible study. He and his brother Babe and Joel Goldstrand. There were others, but they had everything to do with us being able to this morning share what is now a lot higher technology that they had back then. But forever grateful for Jim Hiskey coming into my life. He has now been discipling me for some 20 years, close to 20 years. We've been all over the world together. Forever grateful for him. When I came off the tour, which in 1988, one of the important people that stepped right into my life was Jim Barker. He actually played the tour, went to the University of Houston. He was in that time frame was an instructor. He was teaching the game here in San Antonio, but he had men's groups that were meeting together, which I fell into. But he took me under his wing, so to speak, began to walk alongside me, teach me, disciple me, and gosh, has been a real important person in my life. But I can't, I would leave out many, but yourself being one of them, but people that are all in for what God has in store for us, and being expressions and teachers and learners, disciples in this faith walk. I've fallen in with some incredible people, and those of which I mentioned last Friday: Wally Armstrong, Rick Massengale, Larry Nelson, have been so important in my life. And if there's anything that I would want to encourage someone, is to get in fellowship where you can learn and meet out the Word, study the Word, but more importantly, become transparent, vulnerable, learn, fall in love with your brothers and sisters. I think my effort in all of this season of life is just to become a better husband, father, grandfather, and the Lord has blessed me with much, and that doesn't mean that I don't have plenty of ripples and struggles. I promise you, I'm out there in the grind. Kind of what a lost ball in the high weeds. Certainly, still trying to find my way. But gosh, I'm always grateful that I can fall back on the foundation that really Lynx players had everything to do with.
Yeah, that's a perfect story. Listen, I remember way back in the early 80s, I was a campus minister at UNC Chapel Hill, and I was asked to officiate a wedding in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. So Leanne and I drove up, and while there, I met this gentleman named Jim Hiskey. And Jim Hiskey then became very instrumental and important in my life as well. And, I bet when we get to glory, we're going to see more people than we could possibly imagine who've been impacted by his life.
Yeah, no doubt.
No
He's
doubt.
been invested for a long, long time.
And speaking of technology, we'll close this session with this. Back in those days, you'll remember, and so will many of our viewers, the Lynx letter. You know, this was before emails and the World Wide Web and all that. You know, back in those days, the Links letter was 8.5 by 11 stapled together and put in an envelope. And you got it in snail mail, you know, and a bunch of guys like you and others that had come to Christ, we'd read y'all's testimonies. Well, look, thanks for being with us again for this second episode. And to our Links family, we'll see you next Friday with a third time together just to pick Bill's brain and talk a little bit about the journey Christ has had him on. So God bless. We'll see you next Friday.